the boards just in case. He ends up getting an assist. And
13 seconds later, BU still on a power play. Chris O'Sullivan cuts to the net, loses control, but Mike Greer bangs in his second of the young season to tie it at 3 and force overtime. Nothing was decided in the extra session, so it was on to the shootout. Maine's Scott Parmentier tries to go low on Herlovsky, but the BU netminder reads it perfectly to keep Maine off the board. Herlovsky's heroics gave Kenny Rouse a chance to win it, and he does, going upstairs on Blair Allison, and the Terriers win the shootout 3-0 and the game 4-3 over the Black Bears. Officially, the game will be listed as a tie, but in the Hockey East standings, BU receives 2 points while Maine earns 1. And a bunch of points for BU are what we should.
And it could be the border blowout or perhaps the border bummer. Minnesota has dominated this series since the inception, and that includes the pair of games played last weekend at Mariucci Arena and the 19,000-seat Target Center. Gopher head coach Doug Woog entered Game 1 with a 6-game unbeaten streak against the Badgers. But it would be Wisconsin striking first in this one. Here in the second, Dan Tompkins will bang in the rebound for a 1-0 lead. A few seconds later, the Badgers had a chance to pad its lead, but Joe Bianchi rips one off the pipe. Nevertheless, Badger coach Jeff Sauer was encouraged by his team's play after 2 periods. But things changed in the third, and Minnesota ties the score on this superb play. Brian Bonin finishes things off with the goal, and it's a 1-1 game. Minnesota had a chance to win it in regulation, but Badger goaltender Kurt Dobbins-Beck came up with 2 of his 42 saves on this flurry. The game went into overtime, but Minnesota would end it quickly as senior Justin McHugh redirects the shot out front. Minnesota edges Wisconsin 2-1 in overtime in front of a sellout standing room only crowd of 9,500 at Mariucci Arena. The next night at Target Center, the Gopher power play was too powerful for Wisconsin. This first period man advantage marker by Brian Bonin helped the Maroon and Gold to a 2-0 lead after 1. On to the second, where Minnesota Gopher captain Scott Bell gets his first goal since undergoing back surgery last year. Bell bangs in the rebound for a power play goal and a 3-0 Minnesota lead. Then the coach's kid gets involved. Watch the wicked blast off the stick of Dan Woog. That gave Minnesota a 4-1 lead. The Gophers cruise to a 5-2 win and a series sweep of the Badgers. Minnesota is now unbeaten in its last 8 games against arch rivals.
Roaring in Game 1. Watch the precision passing on the power play here, setting up Jay McNeil for the easy one. McNeil's second of the game takes CC to a 3-1 lead. In the second, CC pads its lead. Here it's Peter Geronazzo having his way with Toby Kavelivog, and the Tigers were up by 4 at 5-1. The Fighting Sioux would provide little help for their beleaguered netminder as the Tigers peppered Kavelivog with 48 shots, including rebound goals like that one off of Colin Schmidt's stick. Even shorthanded, CC's offense continued. Here it's Chad Remico gunning home his first of the year as Colorado College wins its home opener 8-2 over North Dakota. The next afternoon, the Tiger power play unit picked up where it left off. Eric Rudd's bomb from the blue line deflects off Kevin Powell and in for a 1-0 lead. Let's move to the second. Colin Schmidt carrying in deep, centering to Ryan Renard, and CC was up by 3. Later, watch the steal by Chad Hartnell. He gets dumped, but he still gets it to Jason Christopherson, who unleashes a wicked wrist shot, giving the Tigers a 4-zip lead after 2. CC put this one out of reach on a power play. It's Renard again as his shot squirts through Powell's pads, and there's Jason Goodmanson to jam it home for a 5-0 lead. And then the freshman gets his second of the game as he finds the 5-hole on Powell after a nifty move, and CC, well, they rolled to a 6-0 victory. Judd Lambert stopped 24 shots to earn the shutout, and afterwards, Don Lucia, well, he just enjoyed his team's performance.
Well, it was important.
I mean, you know, obviously we got different situation with the home rink and stuff. We wanted to make the best of the situation, you know, and come out hard and strong, and we did, and that's how it worked out, and we won.
As we just said, Colorado College is playing. College was 12-4-4. Moving out of the tight confines of the Broadmoor to the more spacious Air Force Academy rink will be a change. And Coach Don Lucia says his recruiting will reflect that.
We're trying to go out and recruit a little bit more speed and skill now as we get into bigger rinks, not only at Air Force Academy, but when the new facilities built, and there's 4 or 5 other sheets of ice in our league that are Olympic size, so we have to recruit that way. But it's going to be an adjustment because we don't have that home ice advantage early on. It's really the fans that give you that home ice advantage. So I think that ultimately, if we get that great fan support like we have.
Home loss to start the season could be devastating. And the team responded under pressure, winning not 1 but 2 close contests against the Seawolves. The Bulldog power play unit was looking for some redemption after going 0 for the weekend against Minnesota last week, and they found it when Rusty Fitzgerald deposits this rebound behind Lee Shield. But the Seawolves come charging back. Here, Cotton Gore ties it at 1 when he buries this one coming down the slot. Alaska Anchorage takes their first lead of the game on a power play of their own. Paul Williams with a great cross-ice feed to Mark Stitt. Stitt has no problem beating the stickless Terrace Lenzik 2-1 UAA. Later in the second, a delayed penalty is upcoming on Duluth, but before the Bulldogs can gain possession, Gordon McCann fires home his first of the year, and the Seawolves enjoyed a 3-1 lead. But in the third period, the Bulldogs tie it up and force overtime, and in the extra session, Lee Shield leaves a rebound out front, and Ken Dukowski puts it in at 2:46 of overtime. And Minnesota Duluth wins their first overtime game since 1992 with a 4-3 victory over UAA. The next night, UMD completed the sweep with a 2-0 whitewashing of the Seawolves. Terrace Lenzik turned aside all 24 shots for his 4th career shutout, which is a new school record at UMD.
Like UMD, the Denver Pioneers also avoided the WCHA's doghouse last weekend by registering a first win of the season. And DU did it on the road against Michigan Tech and its early season goaltending phenom, Luciano Caravaggio. Opening minute of game 1, Travis Seals ready to go. Check out the rush. Going wide on the defender. He won't finish it, but Kyle Peterson will. 1-0 Michigan Tech. That goal would stand well into the second thanks to some superb goaltending from Luciano Caravaggio. Here he stifles the Pioneers' numerous chances from point-blank range, and afterwards, well, it's a little I don't like you, you don't like me, why can't we all get along? But it was that kind of night for the Denver forwards. The Huskies would give Caravaggio some breathing room a little later. Brent Peterson parked out in front. He beat Sanuhi Wallenheimo for a 2-goal lead. Late in the period, Denver on the power play. Brent Peterson beating everyone to the puck, puts it out to Pat Mickish. Wallenheimo the first save, helpless on the second. 3-0 Tech. Denver makes things interesting in the third, though. Mike Darren, nice shot, going up high on Caravaggio to bring the Pioneers to within a goal, but Tech added an empty netter and goes on to win game 1, 4-2. The next night, it was the Pioneers taking advantage of their opportunities early. Angelo Ritchie dancing by the defender. He slips the disc under Caravaggio for a 1-0 lead. The only thing you have to watch on this next play is the Denver man coming down the slot. Sean Ortiz tripped up, but watch, while still on his knees, backhanding it by Caravaggio, 2-0 Pioneers. On to the third. The Huskies trying to rally this night on the 4-3 power play. Pat Mickish picks up a rebound, and before Jim Mullen recovers, Mickish puts it on the glove side to get Tech on the board. Denver, though, put this one out of reach when redshirt freshman Anders Bjork gets his first as a Pioneer on the breakaway, and Denver wins their first for Coach George Gwozdecki, 4-2 over Michigan Tech.
The final WCHA series last weekend, Northern Michigan at St. Cloud State. Now, NMU has found the Huskies National Hockey Center to be a most unhospitable place. Rick Comley and the Cats have won only once there since 1989. But last weekend, that skid was halted when Northern captured Game 2 of the series, in the process winning the school's 400th game all time. St. Cloud State did win Game 1, 5-2, despite losing senior forward Mark Gagnon with an ankle injury. Well, we've got one more segment to go on this edition of College Hockey USA, and in it, we'll reveal our Player of the Week.
And as we head to break, first a look at the WCHA's offensive and defensive Players of the Week. And after the break, Falcons and Flames. It's not a forest fire, it's a CCHA hockey game, and we've got the highlights next.
No matter how great the landmark, some people are never satisfied.
Where's King Kong?
Unless that landmark is Howard Johnson. At over 600 convenient locations, we guarantee you a clean, comfortable room and prompt, courteous service. If something's not quite right,
it's broken.
Just let us know and we'll make it right, or you get a free night. So for good rooms and great rates, call 1-800-I-GO-HOJO for Howard Johnson Hotels, where you'll sleep tight or it's a free night.
Well, there ain't no doubt about the power of two. For airborne thrust, a rocket fuel. Get up, get out of that chair. Get out, get into the air. Vertical, vertical. The power of two. Get vertical, vertical. The power of two.
The best in college hockey is coming to St. Paul for the first time. Don't miss the excitement as Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Michigan State face off in the 1994 College Hockey Showcase. It's all happening November 25th and 26th at the St. Paul Civic Center. Tickets are on sale now. Call 624-8080 and get yours today.
Welcome back to College Hockey USA on Prime. Well, after the first couple of weekends in the CCHA season, who do you think is leading the league? Perhaps preseason favorite Michigan State, perennial power Michigan, or how about the defending national champions Lake Superior State?
Trick question here. Close enough to Halloween to get away with it. None of the above. We're talking about Bowling Green, folks. The Falcons and new head coach Buddy Powers have taken flight early in 1994-95, bolting to a perfect 4-0 league mark after the first 2 weekends of action. Last weekend, Buddy and BG chalked up a pair of W's, beginning with a victory over Illinois Chicago's Flames. Coach Larry Pedri was hoping that his Flames would be able to hand Bowling Green their first conference loss of the season, and his team stayed right with the Falcons well into the game. Here, Derek Knorr, with great anticipation, blocks the pass, then a quick shot that deflects up and over the shoulder of Will Clark to tie it at 2. Flames faithful were hopeful that the goal would provide the spark to lead UIC to victory, but Bowling Green goes back on top. Paul Herman with the big slap shot. Paul Spencer with the save. Can't find the rebound. Herman fishes it out, puts it in to give the Falcons a 3-2 lead. Late in the second stanza, Spencer gives one up he shouldn't have, as Quinn Fair rips a riser right over Spencer's head. Fair's second of the year puts the Falcons up 4-2 after 2. In the third, Bowling Green puts it away. Here, Brian Holzinger showing why he is in the running for All-American honors, roaring through the defense, top shelf on Spencer. Bowling Green rolls on to a 6-3 victory. The next night, they made it 2 in a row on the road with a 5-3 win over Western Michigan. And meanwhile, the Flames earned an impressive tie with Michigan State, rallying from a 2-0 deficit to earn a point from the highly rated Spartans.
While Bowling Green learns the buddy system, the Alaska Fairbanks Nanooks are learning about life without their top goal scorer in school history. Last year, UAF was the highest scoring team in Division I, thanks to sniper Dean Fedorchuk and 3 others who combined for 261 points. But despite those losses, the Nanooks say, "We will survive."
Definitely their key losses to our lineup, but I think also we got players that are coming up, guys who have to take over these roles. I think it's just the way college hockey is every year. You lose key players and people have to step up and take up different roles, and I think we'll be all right.
We're not going to be as offensive, but it's going to be exciting, you know, hard-working hockey. We've got a club who, you know, there's going to be guys in and out of the lineup all year long, and we're just going to be exciting to watch.
Speaking of goal scorers, a pretty good one is this week's National Division I Player of the Week, presented by America's only true shrine to American hockey, the United States Hockey Hall of Fame in Eveleth, Minnesota, where the legends of hockey live on.
And this week, the Hall would like to salute Boston University senior forward Jacques Joubert. The Terrier captain had 5 points this weekend as BU registered a shootout win and a non-conference victory against RPI. Congratulations to Jacques Joubert, the United States Hockey Hall of Fame Player of the Week. And despite those heroics, Joubert's Terriers lost their top ranking in this week's College Hockey USA poll. That's the bad news, Jacques.
That's right. You can't get everything, I guess, at one time. Taking a look at the poll, you can see that Minnesota takes over the top spot as the nation's top-ranked team, even though BU had 6 first-place votes to the Gophers' 4. However, the Maroon and Gold are ranked number 1 for the first time since 1991 because they picked up more total points.
And other notables, Northeastern, which vaults from 10 to 6, and the team we saw at the start of the segment, Bowling Green, which debuts at the 10th spot. And we've run out of time for this week, but we'll do it all again next week.
We'll see you next time on College Hockey USA.
Crime plays the world.
Manchester United have been champions of the Premier League for the past 2 seasons. Now they're being challenged by the current leaders, Newcastle. The two Uniteds clash today in the match of the season so far. By chance, the two sides faced each other only 3 days ago in the League Cup. Philippe Albert giving Newcastle the edge. Manchester United fielded a weakened team and were finished off by Paul Kitson. Ferguson is still fired with ambition for Manchester United. Kevin Keegan is aiming high for Newcastle. The champions against the challengers coming up. Hello once again, I'm Martin Tyler. This is Old Trafford, the scene of so many marvellous occasions for Manchester United. Always a tingle in the air here, but today you can sense an extra special feeling of anticipation. The home team so supreme over the past 2 seasons, but now up against the side that has supplanted them on top of the table, Newcastle United. Newcastle have won 15 and drawn 2 of their 17 matches so far. The latest victory, that League Cup success over Manchester United at Newcastle on Wednesday night. Well, a fantastic reception for the two sides. The team news for you. It is a much more recognisable Manchester United today. Back comes Schmeichel, Kanchelskis, Keane, Hughes and Cantona, who were all rested from a competition which was low on Alex Ferguson's list of priorities. And Ryan Giggs, originally ruled out by injury, has made a quick recovery, and he also plays. Only Irwin, Bruce, Pallister and McClare took part in the cup tie at St James's Park. A big blow for Newcastle. Andy Cole, who scored home and away against Manchester United last season, has had to give in to a shin injury that's been troubling him for some time. And Cole's attacking partner recently, Paul Kitson, is also missing. But the absentees can be balanced against the return of Robert Lee after a 4-match absence and a successful fitness test for Rule Fox. Lee, Fox and Peter Beardsley, the main men now, if Newcastle are to extend one of their many records, that of scoring in every game they've played thus far. So hard to get tickets for any of United's home games, but this one in particular. And it is a perfect autumnal day. Grey skies there may be, but there's little wind in the air, and a couple of Geordies, both Newcastle born, The toss-up there, Steve Bruce and Peter Beardsley. Beardsley, who had a short spell as a Manchester United player back in the early 80s.